What's up, guys? MCMMA here, and in today's video, I'm going to be reacting to last weekend's pay-per-view, UFC 321. Obviously, the main event was a real letdown. I honestly can't think of a worse way to end a fight of this magnitude, but um, yeah, let's just get right into talking about Tom Aspinall versus Cyril Gane. Um, Cyril Gane was looking pretty good to start the fight. He was outpointing Aspinall on the feet. He kind of busted Aspinall's nose up a little bit with the jab. But I think that the narrative that Aspinall took the easy way out of that fight is just so fucking stupid. We all saw the replay of the eye poke. Like, he got knuckle deep eye poked on both eyes. I've obviously never experienced something like that, but I can't even imagine how much pain Aspinall was in. And I don't like. There's no way a couple of jabs would be enough to have him looking for an easy way out of a fight. This dude fights for a living. Like, he can handle that. So I think that narrative is really stupid. Um, Despite that, though, this was shaping up to be a pretty good fight. It looked like Gane was going to give Aspinall more resistance than all of his previous opponents, just because of the fact that the fight lasted 4.5 minutes, which is crazy to say. It just speaks to how dominant Tom Aspinall has been so far in his career. But I think that the rematch should come soon. I doubt it's going to happen this year because the two pay-per-views left this year are both pretty stacked. So I feel like Dana would probably see it as a bit of a waste to put Aspinall and Gane on top of one of those pay-per-views that already has two title fights on it. But actually, I guess they could maybe move. They could maybe move like Merab versus Jan to UFC 324 and then have Aspinall versus Gane slide in as the main event there. But I think it's most likely that they will probably headline the first Paramount pay-per-view at the start of 2026. I think, especially now that there is a bit of a narrative that, oh, wait, maybe Gane's going to beat him. Maybe Gane's the one. Maybe he's the guy to beat Tom Aspinall. I think that could build more hype around this fight than there was coming into the fight this weekend, since, a lot of people thought Aspinall was going to steamroll Cyril Gane. But, yeah, I hope they get this sorted out soon. I did see that Aspinall went from, he was a minus 355 favorite in this one. I saw that he was only minus 160 for the rematch, which I think is just free money, honestly. I think, despite the fact that Gane was looking good, I think Tom was still definitely going to win that fight. So, yeah, I would definitely bet on that line. In the co-main event, Mackenzie Dern defeated Virna Jandiroba by unanimous decision to become the new women's strawweight champion. Dern looked pretty good. Her striking is much, much improved. She's got quick hands. Her striking looked good. She was getting taken. She got taken down 9 times, but her jiu-jitsu's really strong. So Jandiroba wasn't really able to do anything with those takedowns. And yeah, I was surprised. I was definitely underestimating Dern coming into this one. I thought that Jandiroba was just kind of better than her all around, and I was clearly wrong. In terms of what's next, I think that it'll probably be Tatiana Suarez, and I would probably favor Dern in that one too, just because Suarez is a great wrestler, but once she gets Dern to the ground, I don't know if she's going to want to engage with Dern because of how good Dern's jiu-jitsu is, and I think on the feet that Dern would definitely have the advantage. So I think, honestly, she could end up maybe sticking around as champ for a little bit, as long as Wei Li doesn't come back. So, yeah, impressive performance from Mackenzie Dern, and congrats to her. All right. Umar Nurmagomedov defeated Mario Bautista by unanimous decision. On paper, the fight played out basically exactly how I expected, but I think that both Mario Bautista looked better than I expected, and Umar looked a little worse than I expected. This was a really impressive performance by Bautista, even though I thought that he lost every round. I know the second round was very close, but I did think that Umar edged it. Bautista looked good. That heel hook in the first round was really tight. He fucked Umar's ankle up with that one. You could tell that Umar was kind of limping around. for the rest of the fight after that one. And that knee, I mean, that was a beautiful knee. Perfect timing on there. That would have put a lot of guys out. So I was impressed with Mario. His striking looked pretty solid too, but then as the fight kind of progressed and Umar was able to just constantly be shooting takedowns, I mean, he landed 11 takedowns in the fight. The takedowns also helped Umar set up his striking, so by the end of the fight, he was kind of piecing Mario up on the feet. But for Umar, I mean, yeah, he won pretty clearly, but I don't really think he has much of a chance against Merab in a rematch. Um, he like his gas tank, especially, that was like the main part. Like he was gassed by the end of this fight. You could see in the post-fight interview that he was still like trying to catch his breath. That's not a good sign if he thinks that he's going to beat Merab. Since, I mean, Umar gassed out in the first fight. He didn't honestly gas out that badly. It was really only in like the fourth and fifth rounds that you could see the fatigue really wearing on him. But with the, I mean, with the improvements that Merab has been making from fight to fight, I think that Umar is going to get beat a lot worse in the rematch, given how Umar looked on Saturday night. So, all right. Alexander Volkov defeats Jailton Almeida by split decision. He gets his redemption from the Cyril Gane fight. I think it's kind of hilarious because I did not think that he won this fight. I mean, I'm not mad at like the decision because Almeida didn't really attempt any offense, but I don't think Volkov thought he won the fight either. I mean, you could kind of see as they were like reading the scorecards, he looked kind of defeated. But I'm not like I said, I'm not mad at it at all. You could definitely score the fight for Volkov, and he is now on what should be like a 5 or 6 fight win streak, I think, like something like that. But regardless of that, he is in a very tough spot now because of what happened in the main event. Because now they're gonna have to do the rematch with Aspinall and Gane, and then after that, I mean, if Alex Pereira or John Jones wants to come back, they're both gonna get priority over Alexander Volkov, so he's gonna be in a pretty tough spot. I would think that he's probably just gonna wait it out until he gets a title shot, which I wouldn't be mad at. I think that, especially seeing how long he's been in the UFC, how long he's been working towards getting this title shot, I wouldn't blame him at all if he took a decently long layoff to wait for a title shot. But it could end up being a little while, and he's a guy who is pretty old at this point too. So as for Almeida, super disappointing performance from him. I had put him in my most underrated fighters in the UFC video. I said he was a guy who I thought got too much hate, and in this fight, he proved exactly why he gets the hate that he does. He had Volkov in positions multiple times throughout this fight where he could have opened up with ground and pound, and he just chose not to. It kind of seems that when he starts fighting these like higher level heavyweight guys, like against Curtis Blades and against Volkov in this fight, he can still land the takedowns, but he seems a lot more hesitant to like look for submissions and look for ground and pound. I don't know if he's just like scared about like losing his position or something, since Volkov did reverse him in the first round and he was kind of hitting him with some pretty heavy shots. I guess because Almeida's pretty undersized for the division, maybe he thinks he's like not going to be able to get up if he loses his position, but he really needs to change his game plan going forward. I honestly think the best move for him would be to move down to light heavyweight, since if he's out, like we know he can make the weight. He has fought at light heavyweight before, and if you put him at light heavyweight, he's going to bring those grappling skills to another division that is very weak on grappling, but he's going to be the same size as his opponents, which I think would be pretty huge for him. But very disappointing performance from Almeida. I thought he was going to show a lot more in this fight, and he did not. Last fight on the main card, Azamat Mirzakhanov with the first round knockout over Alexander Rakic. I was spot on this one. This fight played out almost exactly how I thought it was going to. The knockout actually came a little bit earlier than I thought. I thought it was going to be like a round 2 knockout, but man, Azamat is so good. I mean, he's just so... This fight has helped put him on the map a little bit. I've seen a lot more people recognizing how good he is, but he's just been so under the radar for such a long time. And he's just like quietly, he's just like a quiet killer. Like he's been doing this to all of his opponents he's faced so far in the UFC. And I think now is the time that he's finally going to get that big opponent. I think that he should for sure be fighting a top five opponent next. I think either Khalil Roundtree or Magomed Ankalaev would make the most sense. And I mean, especially if he was to fight Roundtree, I would absolutely pick him to beat Roundtree. And even like against Ankalaev, that would actually be a really tough one since Ankalaev is elite. But I would love to see that matchup. That would be sick. As for Rakic, I think that he should move up to heavyweight. I mean, he's got a huge frame. He could definitely pack on the weight to become a heavyweight, and I think that given he's a pretty technical striker. He was actually, I mean, I know this fight lasted like 2 minutes, but he looked like he was kind of frustrated Mirzakhanov with some of the kicks initially, but then he kind of changed his game plan and started like rushing towards Azamat, which made no sense to me given that he has like a huge reach advantage. He should have just been like staying on the outside, peppering him with kicks and jabs and stuff, but who knows? Rakic's fight IQ is not the greatest, but I think he should move up to heavyweight. He would be way more athletic and technical on the feet than basically everybody else in the division. I think that it would also help his chin, not having to go through that big weight cut. And yeah, I think at light heavyweight, he doesn't really have much left at this point on the horizon. So I think he should move up. I think he could be a guy who's definitely top 10, maybe even like a top 5 heavyweight. I think he would probably beat like all the blobs, maybe up until like Curtis Blades or like Ante Dielitsa. I think that he would have a pretty easy time fighting guys up until he got to that like kind of top 5 to like 7 range in the division. Moving on to the prelims. Holy shit. What a knockout by Quillan Salkield. The Minority Slayer strikes again. First it was an Indian, then it was a Jew, and now he has gotten the Arab Nasrat Haqparast. Wow. I thought Haqparast was going to win this fight pretty handily. I mean, Nasrat is a very good fighter. Like I was saying in my breakdown, like he's like a borderline top 15 guy. He's coming off wins over like Esteban Ribovic and Jared Gordon, like guys who are also very good lightweights. And Salkiel just put him to sleep. That head kick was insane. I mean, Nasrat was out for a while too. Yeah, I'm never going to doubt on this guy again. He should definitely get a top 15 opponent after that one. That was absolutely insane. I thought that Nasrat was going to be too much for him, especially on short notice, and he totally proved me wrong. I'm all aboard the Quillan Salkiel hype train now, and I can't wait to see what's next for him. Ikram Alaskarov beats Jung Young Park by decision. Kind of a disappointing performance from Ikram, I'm not going to lie. I thought that he was going to look better. I thought that Park was a guy who was like a couple levels below Ikram talent-wise, and it wasn't the performance that I was expecting from him. He looked kind of scared on the feet. He did implement the wrestling a lot more in this fight, which I guess is a good sign for the future that he has that option if he needs it. But I mean, against competition like Park, like Ikram shouldn't be struggling that much on the feet. So I think that that's not a great sign for his future. I think that he's a guy who could probably be in like the 10 to 15 range in the middleweight division, but I don't really see him going too far past that. And this was a guy who people were touting as like a future champ, maybe even like a year ago, like before he fought Robert Whittaker. So a bit of a disappointing performance from Aliskarov. Ludovic Klein versus Mateusz Raumbetsky. What an amazing fight. Raumbetsky might be the single most entertaining fighter in the UFC. His last like 4 fights have all been absolutely insane. But I mean, this dude needs a break. Like he gets his ass beat every single fight at this point, and he's fighting like fairly often. I think his last fight against Chris Duncan was like 3 or 4 months before this. So he needs a break, or else his brain's just gonna turn into liquid. But pretty good performance from Ludovic Klein. His striking looked crisp. Like we've known he was a good striker, but we weren't necessarily sure how he was going to bounce back after that loss against Mateusz Gamrot. But He looked really good. His striking looked good. He was piecing up Brown Betsky the first couple of rounds. I mean, obviously he broke his ankle in the third and was kind of getting battered. I think that this fight likely should have been a draw. Probably. I don't really understand how one of the judges gave Klein a 10-8. I forgot which round he gave it to him in, but I mean, I don't think he got one. But good performance from Klein. Hopefully he's able to recover pretty soon, and I think that he should probably get a guy. His next opponent should probably be either at the bottom of the rankings or like right on the edge of the top 15. And for Ambetsky, you need to take a break, bro. Like I love watching his fights, but like I said, his brain's gonna turn into liquid if he doesn't stop getting battered. Walter Walker, I mean, he does it again. He's it's insane. Like I know he's fighting like some of the lowest level fighters in the UFC. I mean, just like look at this motherfucker. But still, 4 heel hooks in a row is absolute insanity. He called out Hamdi in the post fight. I mean, why not make that? I know Walter says he wants to keep fighting unranked heavyweights so he can keep just farming easy wins, and I honestly don't blame the guy. Like he's getting bonuses at this point in almost every fight, and I mean he's not like these guys aren't going to put up resistance against him. So I think he should probably start moving like higher up in the rankings soon. But for now, if he wants to keep fighting cans, I'd say just let him do it because it's super entertaining. Nathaniel Wood versus Jose Delgado. I personally thought Delgado won this fight, to be honest. I thought he won the first and the second round. I was really impressed by Delgado. I thought that if he was going to win, he was going to do it by an early knockout. And I mean, he almost did knock out Wood with that sick spinning back fist or elbow, whatever it was. But he looked pretty good throughout the fight. I was very impressed by him. Like we know Nathaniel Wood is a very good fighter, but I thought Delgado won this fight. I'm a little frustrated by that decision. I think regardless of that, though, I know Nathaniel Wood called out Patricio Pitbull after the fight. I think that one makes a lot of sense. Wood definitely deserves a ranked opponent after this one. And as for Delgado, I mean, I want to see him get a guy who's like right outside the rankings. Like he should have won this fight, and if he had gotten this decision, he would probably be facing a ranked opponent next. So I say we keep him right up in that range, like some guy who's like right outside the rankings. I'm trying to think, maybe like a Giga Chikadze or something like that. But he deserves a pretty big fight as well. But great fight, good performance fight, both of these guys. Hamdi Abdelwahab beats Chris Barnett by a unanimous decision. Chris Barnett is so ass, like it's unbelievable. He's unbelievably ass. He should have gotten cut a while ago. The only reason he's still in the UFC is because people think he's funny. But wow, like what? This fight was just such a joke. I mean, good win for Hamdi, I guess. Like I said, Walter Walker called him out, so I say we just feed him to Walter Walker. But yeah, I hate seeing these like unranked heavyweight fights. They're just like so low level, and Chris Barnett needs to go. Mitch Raposo pulls off a pretty big upset against Azat Maxim. I said in my breakdown that I thought Azat was a pretty good fighter, and I thought that he was maybe like top 15 material, but Raposo, pretty clear win. Good work from him. I know Azat missed weight too by a few pounds, so yeah, it might be over for him in the UFC, to be honest, because this is his third. I think he's 1-3 in the UFC now, and like the first 2 losses were somewhat excusable since they were both against ranked guys, but not anymore. I don't think he might be gone, especially after that weight miss. But good win for Mitch Raposo. He'll definitely be sticking around after that one. And yeah, last fight of the night. Mizuki pulls off the upset over Jacqueline Amarim. I didn't watch this fight, I'm going to be totally honest, but good for Mizuki, I guess. All right, that is it. That is my reaction and recap of UFC 321 Aspinall versus Gane. Obviously, super disappointing end to the card, but I thought it was a solid card overall. I thought it was slightly disappointing given that there was some pretty good matchups on paper, but I will be back soon with my preview and picks for UFC Fight Night Garcia versus Onama this weekend, which is a horrid fight night. I'm just going to be totally honest. But we got that, and then we've got we've got Gabriel Bonfim versus Randy Brown. But then after that, we have UFC 322, which I'm very excited for. But yeah, I'll be back soon with my breakdown for this weekend's fight night, and I'll be making more videos throughout the week. So thank you guys for watching. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel.